Evening and welcome to the 2018 Illinois Swimming Senior Championships, located here at the Village of Pleasant Prairie Recplex in beautiful Pleasant Prairie, Wisconsin, just over the border between Illinois and Wisconsin. I am Jay Pfeiffer, your play-by-play host today. I'm joined by Mr. Tony Young, Sport Director for Illinois Swimming. And we have a beautiful competition today. We're starting off with the 800-meter freestyle. We're alternating between men and women here.
The 800 freestyle swum in a 50-meter pool, and this is an Olympic distance pool. So if you hadn't been following some of the new events that have been added to the Olympic Games, traditionally the 800 had been only the only event that women had swum at the Olympic trials. Now the 1500 is part of their repertoire, so the 800 is a great preparatory meet for the distance events we'll be seeing on Sunday. And vice versa, we'll see the 800-meter freestyle swum in the Olympic Games now, which didn't used to be one of the events swum by men.
Okay.
And now we're going to see that coming up in 2020 in Omaha. And, you know, one of the things we're hoping for here as the sport director for Illinois Swimming, we're hoping some of these young swimmers break out and make those Olympic trial cuts coming up here in another year and a half.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this as well. I know you were telling me that we should see some hopefuls here. So we know the event alternates between women and men. We're going to start with the women first, and it should be an exciting start to the day.
Well, it is a timed final
Right.
event. So our distance events are timed final events, which means that as we go through the competition, we'll keep track of the fastest swimmer that has swum throughout the competition. But your winner may not come from Heat 1. Your winner may come from Heat 10. And we've seen this traditionally over the winter and summer championship meets where the fastest swimmer may be seated with the yards time. And that puts them traditionally seated later in the competition. Some of the athletes that have the faster competition in the faster heats have swum this event over and over, have a lot of experience, so we should see some good swims early in the competition.
And I am definitely excited for that. I know you are as well, Tony. And we've got some familiar faces and names here within the competition. Obviously, you're starting in Heat 1. You've got Ava Holson, Gina Jenkins, and Lauren Payton, just to name a few.
So as we go through this competition, you will see over the 3.5 days of competition that we have here at Pleasant Prairie, we will see many of these names over and over and over again because they will be swimming a multitude of events, sometimes 3 events in a day. This is a prelims and final. Don't get us wrong here when we say it's a time final event. It is a prelims and final competition. Prelims starting at 8:30 in the morning, and then finals start at 5:30 in the evening, except for Sunday, which starts at 5 o'clock. We will be on air for both the prelims and final events, but we will be doing play-by-play in finals only. But we will have the live competition. We will have the voice of the pool deck. We will have a live screenshot of the splits as you see the competition throughout. You'll see the names on the screen. Tell the folks at home a little bit about the difference between the lane in the pool and the scoreboard itself.
So what you'll see on the screen, it'll be lanes 1 through 10, top to bottom. But on your screen, the top will be lane 10, and it'll be 9, 8, and you'll see lane 1 at the bottom of your screen. So that's a bit of a difference there.
Right. So just kind of keep in mind when you're following your favorite swimmer, how we're able to make sure that you can follow them on the scoreboard as well. And over here it looks like we are going to be able to keep some unofficial times on that scoreboard as well. So keeping track of the last names. If you're watching right now, you'll see the scoreboard in front of you. Sometimes the names are longer than the actual screen allows. So you'll be following the last name of the swimmer, but we will guarantee you that we'll be announcing the athletes as they go through the competition as well. So the Pleasant Prairie Recplex has been the site of many top-level meets. It's a beautiful location, particularly here in July.
Yeah, it really is.
One of the things that you will see that is sometimes a challenge for the athletes is the glare that you'll see off the water coming in off the lakeside. And as we see that glare sometimes, not necessarily the freestylers, but backstrokers, it may affect their competition a little bit. And they practice warm-up. As we go through the competition, they will be practicing starts, turns during warm-up and preparing themselves for that.
882 swimmers and 65 teams take to the pool at this 2018 competition. So once again, it should be an exciting few days here. A lot of events, and I'm really excited to see who will be the fastest and what future stars we'll see.
what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
All right, heat one.
In heat one, in lane one, we have Ava Holson. In lane two, Eva Holson from the Patriot Aquatic Club. In lane two, Gina Jenkins from Academy Bullets Swim Club. In lane three, Lauren Payton, also from Academy Bullets. Lane four, we have Emma Theobald from Dunlap Dolphin Swim Team. In lane five, we have Audrey Coffey from Academy Bullets. In lane six, we have Kaylee Lovell, also from Academy Bullets. In lane seven, we have Sydney Kelly, also from Academy Bullets. In lane eight, we have Erin Scudder from Lions Aquatics. In lane nine, we have Kendra Joaquim from Scout Aquatics. And in lane 10, we have Rachel Steege from Fox Valley Swim Team.
So when heat number one hits the water, again, this is a time final event. We'll be keeping track of the times as we go. The meet record and the association record are two separate records. You will see that the meet record has to actually be swum in the competition here at the Senior Championships.
Okay.
The association record can be swum anywhere in any type of competition by an Illinois swimming athlete. So when you see the two different records and you're questioning what they are, that's usually the reason why. So Hannah Sakalik from Bloomington Normal Y holds the meet record set back in 2014 with an 8:56.94. And the senior LSC record set by her teammate Melissa Pish in 2014 at an 8:43.22. Athletes will be shooting for certain goals throughout the meet, and we'll talk about that as the competition starts. Heat one in the water.
And they're in. It looks like an early lead is held by, I believe that's Audrey Coffey in lane 5.
Lane number 5. So let's talk a little bit about race strategy for the 800.
Yeah, it's not a sprint, right? it's definitely a distance race. So, yeah, talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, it's interesting. It's not always who leads at the in the first length. It's who's leading at the end, right? But these athletes are very well coached, and the 800 is a little bit different event than the 1500. There's a little bit more of a mentality that you keep a little bit stronger of a pace on the way out. You still try to negative split using a track term.
Okay.
Try to negative split your race and keeping your 400s as close together as possible. So we'll keep an eye on the athletes as they hit the 400 mark. So they're also taught pacing. And what you see the athletes here, your leaders right now they're much more quick tempoed. These athletes in the middle of the pool that are from Academy You look at lane 6, that's Kaylee Lovell
Yep.
or Audrey Coffey.
Audrey Coffey has a first split
They're
lead
probably
at 104.
training partners, and they're probably racing against each other on an ongoing basis. So what we're seeing here occasionally is as we go through the field, you will see certain teams that enter more athletes in this event. And
Sure.
that's because of how they train and their focus on, trying to develop athletes from the 50 to the 1500 and giving them a well-balanced training cycle.
And do you see a lot of team sort of chemistry here in some of these races? Like you said, some of these females are teammates. They obviously train together. Do you see a lot of help between teammates at all, and especially in a distance race like this?
Well, when you're sometimes being a really, really fast athlete like a Michael Phelps or whomever, you can get caught out there in a distance race by yourself.
Sure.
And when that happens, and you may see that later on in the field, is you start thinking. The athlete starts overthinking. And if they have somebody next to them, that's kind of it's your training partner, it's your racing partner. So let's take a look at the racing going on within the racing.
Right.
So we see lanes 5 and 6,
Yep.
but you also see 6 and 7. You also see lanes 2, 3, and 4. And those are races or within races that are helping these athletes get to where they need to be at the halfway point. Then the coaches, as we see on deck, become very animated. They're trying to get the athletes to be at certain paces or certain times at certain points of the race, and they're going to ask the athletes to increase their effort about halfway through the race. But to your point, your partners work together? Yes, they do. And I think your competition, friendly competition,
Sure.
actually works together. Doesn't have to be your teammate.
Right.
It can be your competition, and that's usually when you start seeing fast swims. The better the competition, the faster the times.
And would you also say that most of the swimmers here know each other already, even though they may not be on the same team per se?
Yeah, I would say that's a really good way to look at this because they have grown up together. These athletes are now, as you see the ages, as we go through this, we see athletes from 14 years old, who is Kaylee Lovell, all the way up to 18 years old, is Ava Holson. So
Even a 19-year-old Erin Scudder. Yep.
Right, she's probably a college athlete training for the summer, for keeping in shape or training to try to make nationals or whatever the case may be. The national cut, the women's junior national cut in this particular event is 8:58.
0.69.
69, and that means that they don't have to necessarily break the meet record to get that time, but for them to be out under 9 minutes, we're going to have to see these athletes coming up on the 400. They're going to have to be out under 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Not by a lot. That's if they're working the back half of the race. So as we're seeing that our two leaders here probably have a pretty good shot at achieving either the junior national cut or the actual national championship cut, the USA Swimming Championship cuts.
Audrey Coffey has a slight lead over Kaylee Lovell at this point, about a quarter of a body's length, I would say.
Well, what do you see? What do you see in that race strategy right there? There's Jeff Gordon right there trying to draft off of her teammate a little bit, and you see that occasionally in distance swimming. You see it over there in lane 6 and 7. Athletes will use the draft as breaking that water. So the time's going out. Your fastest swimmer was Audrey Coffey.
4:27.
Actually, no, I think Kaylee's split just didn't shut off. Her time didn't pop up or it cleared too quickly, but I think she was probably more like a 4:26, which is plenty fast enough on the way out. So let's watch the splits as they go. Audrey was holding a 34.1. And let's see who the fastest swimmer is in the pool by the splits on that scoreboard and how they attack this race. So let's see if they start bringing those splits under 34 seconds.
So
it's a 33.8.
Just under 34 seconds, like you predicted.
Yep. So let's keep an eye on them. So they have the back half of this swim to be able to hold those splits, to be able to get under that time standard that they're looking for. So these two teammates are really pushing themselves well, but look at the great swim. Sometimes we focus so much on the winners, or the leaders is a better way to look at this, that we forget about what's happening over here in lane number 3, and Lauren Payton over there from Academy also having a great swim.
Absolutely.
Lane number 7 over there is Kelly Stone. Sydney Kelly. Names are a little bit backwards on the scoreboard in our heat sheets. So
that's okay.
So as we watch the race unfold, you're starting to see Kaylee Lovell starting to break away, break the draft. But now over here, looking like she's got a great negative split going, is lane number 3, and that's Lauren Payton.
Yeah, she's swimming a great race as well. See, I believe she's actually catching a little bit.
Keep an eye on lane number 7 over there. Outside smoke in lane number 10 at the top of your screen, looking great is Rachel Stieg.
Sydney Kelly in lane 7, as you mentioned, also having a great swim so
far. So you can see the races within the races, and that really is helping the athletes push through the back half of this swim. I always thought about putting a Fitbit on the coaches.
Okay.
I really
just to check their heart rate.
Well, check their heart rate and watch them all. Some of these coaches will swim the entire race or walk the entire race with them. So it's kind of fun just to see the athletes and the coaches.
They're getting their exercise as well, right?
All right, your leader. I don't know if that split's going to shut off just the way we want it to. Let's see how that scoreboard's working. That touchpad's not really working for her right now, so we're getting no splits from our leader.
Sydney is well out in front at this point, though, with about a 2 to 2.5 body length lead.
All right, keep an eye on that. Also, the junior national cut is 8:58 to be under that 9-minute mark.
She looks like she's on a good pace for that right now.
She is. All right, let's keep an eye on also closing speed. So as the race strategy, we talked about being strong on the front half but not overusing the legs on the front half of the race. You see the athletes now, you see the little white water starting to come off their feet. So they're really adding in their legs on the back half of the swim. You see the tempo start to increase.
Trying to amp up some energy and some speed there. As I've noticed, Lauren Payton, again, I have to say this, she's definitely closing in a little bit on that gap. She's swimming a great race as well.
Yes, she is.
Starting to exert more energy, as you alluded to earlier.
All right, let's keep an eye on right now. We see lanes 1, 2, and 3. All right, now if she is well under pace here. If she can get it home with some good closing speed, she's about a 7:50, 7:51. Definitely on pace to either break the meet record or the national cut.
It's going to be close.
Or break the meet record. So she's got to really get home, and I think the coaches know it. They're trying to urge her home.
Do you think she knows it, Tony? Do you think she has an idea in her mind where she might be? Do you think the swimmers think about that at all?
Great athletes get into a zone. You
right.
know, it's kind of one of those things that she got numb. About halfway through the race, she didn't feel her legs get heavy. A lot of these athletes aren't tapered or rested. This is a training meet for some of our best athletes preparing for the national competition coming up.
She's at 8:24 coming into that last split.
All right, she's got to get home to break the meet record. She's got to get home in a 32. It's going to be close, but that junior national cut looks like it's within reach.
Let's see here.
She's hanging tough. I hope that's
last 10 meters or so.
All right, meet record is 56.94. Get in there, girl. Come on.
And she is finished
8:56.
84.
It's a new meet
84. That is a new meet record, ladies and gentlemen. And again, that is the meet record that was previously held by Hannah Sakaluk in July of 2014.
Outstanding swim. Also a junior national time standard. She may already have it in that event.
Okay.
The point being is if the more times you can swim it when you're training, what a great opportunity. So there is your leader. This is a time final competition. Anybody who's got to break this, they have to actually break the meet record if they're going to win this event. Great swim by Kaylee Lovell. Your guys' heat coming up. We'll call their names after they hit the water.
As the men get started, in lane 1, we have Nicholas Jasinski. In lane 2, we have Trevor Carter. Nicholas Jasinski from Mundelein Mustang Swim Club. Trevor Carter, again in lane 2, from Wheaton Swim Club. In lane 3, we have Lucas Conrads from Fox Valley Swim Team. In lane 4, we have Ian Vandergraaf from New Trier Aquatics. In lane 5, we have Jacob Furlong from Chicago Wolfpack. In lane 6, we have Liam Hutchinson from Wheaton Swim Club. In lane 7, we have Nicholas Vance from West Chicago Sharks. In lane number 8, we have Thomas Hackley from YWCA Flying Fish. In lane 9, we have Joseph Bosey from Lincoln Way Swim. And finally, we have Nicholas Torrey from New Trier Aquatics.
Man, this is an exciting field, and I'll tell you why. I mean, some of our top distance swimmers are in here. Your meet record holder is in this field. Liam Hutchinson from Wheaton Swim Club. This young man has got unbelievable closing speed. So keep an eye on the back half of the race for Liam. You take a look at Nick Vance from West Chicago Sharks. He's already broken records in the 200 backstroke this summer, unrested, unshaved, LSC records. So he is one of our top swimmers in the LSC. Take a look at Jacob Furlong over here from Chicago Wolfpack, one of the top young distance swimmers that we have as well. So we're going to watch one of the more exciting races. I'm not going to leave anybody out here because who knows going to make a breakthrough right now. Over there in lane number 7 right now, looks like Nick Vance. And remember, if you're watching from home, you're going to see lane 1 at the bottom of your screen is really lane 1, and lane 10 at the top of your screen. Scoreboard reads the opposite. So keep an eye on the field. Don't count out your meet record holder, Liam Hutchinson, until the very last touch on the wall.
As we get our first split from the first 100, it looks like Hutchinson is your leader, 32-34.
So meet record's 8:21.67 that he set last year at this meet. The senior champ, the actual LSC record is set by one of the nation's top distance swimmers, David Sims, back in 1980 at 8:07. They're not on pace to break that 8:07 currently, but they sure are on pace to be able to take a shot at that meet record. Now, to be able to do that, that 8:21 was swum with a great back half again by Liam Hutchinson. You see the 3 gentlemen that we talked about earlier. That's Furlong, Hutchinson, and Vance. Right out in the middle. Look at over here in lane number 4. That is Vandergraaf, also looking pretty nice and easy on the way out. And you notice the differences between the heats. You know, the guys taking a little bit more relaxed approach to it. So let's see what they bring on the back half. Look at the racing going on in 1 and 2 and 3, and then 8, 9, and 10. So we're seeing a lot of races within the races.
Yeah, like you alluded to, those 3 separate groups there seem to be bunched up. I wanted to get your thoughts on this, Tony. Did you prefer a lane at all? Do you prefer the middle lane over an outside lane per se? Do you think it matters?
It's interesting. When you have a fast tank, and this is when I say a fast tank, there's a lot of things that make pools fast. Depth of the diving in particularly for young males or college athletes, collegiate athletes, depth of the pool does make a difference. And lighting makes a difference in the pool as well, as we were talking a little bit about the glare, not necessarily for the freestyles, but it will in some of the stroke events. The things that you're talking about, why here, what lanes? You know, when you're at the NCAAs, you prefer to be in an outside lane because nobody can draft off of you because the gentlemen and the young ladies are so big and strong. In the middle of the pool is traditionally where the fastest swimmers are seated. And those athletes in the middle of the pool, they kind of take pride in being in the middle of the pool. So it's a pride thing more than it is a pool thing. All right, a little slow right now at that 4:13 base. That's Liam Hutchinson. Let's watch if he brings that back half home. Now, again, these young athletes, as you watch them, they could be training through this meet. And the goal here for coaches is to be able to have them think of this competition as a building point for nationals. And what they're trying to do here is get them to swim at in-season peak performance. It doesn't have to be their best time, but sometimes those young ladies like Kaylee Lovell, for example, may have gotten her best time today. Don't know for sure. So as we look at Kaylee's time on the heat sheet, it was 9:08. She kind of smoked that.
Right.
So if that's really her best time, then she, in the middle of peak training, she went that fast. And sometimes you'll see distance swimmers be a little bit more aerobically fit at this point of the season, not as tired because they continue to train those yards. Sprinters may be more tired than distance swimmers, but then there's also the athletes that this is their big meet. They're trying to make national cuts here. All right, race is starting to unfold in the middle. That's 4 and 5.
Yep. Jacob Furlong, Liam Hutchinson with a sub-32 split there, 31.66. Jacob Furlong right behind him at 31.76.
So as you're watching at home and you look at those splits, you can kind of follow your athlete and seeing how they're progressively building through the race. 31.6 is the fastest swimmer in the pool right now, but now in lane number 2, coming up strong over here in lane number 2. Trevor Carter looking strong, another Wheaton swimmer. So again,
in lane 8 as well, Thomas Hackley is having a nice, decent swim as well. Now another sub-32 split by Liam Hutchinson, 31.53, better than his last split.
And let's see. This is going to come down to some great closing speed. Now you start to watch the gentlemen in the pool. You start seeing the increase of tempo. Tempo is their arm speed. Coaches actually track that. They will actually try to track their arm speed, their tempo, their distance per stroke. They will track that for them. Some athletes start getting too caught up with moving their arms too quickly, and they don't pull water. So by moving your arms doesn't necessarily make you go faster. If these athletes look like they're going slow, but they're going fast, that's called efficiency. That's what coaches are working towards.
Well, Liam Hutchinson is going faster at this point. He's got another sub-32 split. This one came in at 31.47. He's definitely starting to pick up the pace a little bit.
He's probably going to have to bring it home much faster than what his splits are showing. He's at a 103 pace or 102 high pace right now. So he's at 31.0, so right now he's back to your point. We talked about his closing speed. The last 3 splits have gotten faster. So keep an eye out there for the racing going on in the race. Jacob Furlong having a great swim as well. Third place over there is Nick Vance.
Trailing a little bit, but like you said earlier, he's got great closing speed as well. So this race for him in this particular heat is not over with as well.
And lane number 2 over here, keep an eye on Trevor Carter.
Yeah.
All right, here's the closing speed that's needed. 31.0. He's going to have to get home under a minute. I don't know if he's going to be able to do that now, but let's keep an eye on him because he showed me some amazing things on the back half of his swim. So keep an eye on your leader, Liam Hutchinson. His seed time coming in obviously has to be the meet record. You can't get away from that. Can't hide that one. He's going to be right around it. Let's see what he's got.
Right?
Let's see what kind of sprint speed he's got at the end.
Meters here.
This is where the training pays off, to be able to build your races. 30.89.
He's gotten strong as the race has gone on, as we've alluded to.
Let's see what he's got here at the end. The meet record is 8:21.67. The junior national time standard is 8:23.09. He could get that.
He could get there.
And again,
as Hutchinson comes up on the last 10 meters or so.
23.61 junior national cut.
8:23.61.
Just off of another great swim.
But another great split as well.
30.20. What a great finish. All right, we're going to mark that down. Your fastest time so far is 8:23.61 on the men's side. Time final event. Looks like we had another great swim over there.
Yes.
Furlong was second. Vance was third. Trevor Carter was fourth. And Thomas Hackley was fifth. Great swims, gentlemen. Heat number 2 of the women.
Coming right up. As they get started, in lane 1, we have Shannon Blumenfield from Alligator Aquatics. In lane 2, we have Mary Kate Phillips from St. Charles. In lane 3, we have Sloan Lightfoot from Delta Aquatics. In lane 4, we have Allison Beitendorp from Woodstock Dolphins. In lane 5, we have Sophia Vargas from NASA Wildcat Aquatics. In lane 6, we have Paige Edmere from Academy Bullets. In lane 7, we have Emily Hartman from Bloomington. In lane 8, we have Signe Maxwell from St. Charles. In lane 9, we have Isabella Harder from Fox Valley. And in lane 10, we have Claire Russell from Wheaton Swim Club.
All right, keep an eye on the fastest seed in heat number 2. Again, time final event. So when we say fastest seed time.
Sophia Vargas in lane 5 with that fastest seed time, 9:34.06.
Keep an eye on that lane number 5. And again, let's watch the differences in the race strategy. So what the young ladies are shooting for right now is not only best times, but the fastest time swum so far was the meet record in Heat 1, 8:56.84 by Kaylee Lovell.
In lane 4 with a slight lead there is Allison Beitendorp out of Woodstock.
Young ladies here. Again, let's watch the swimmers in the pool. Why we mentioned the fastest seed time. Difference in race strategies. The young ladies that are going out very quickly on that first 200 pace. And remember the back half of the 800-meter freestyle. How strong Liam Hutchinson was, how strong Kaylee Lovell was. You watch the race strategy. So patience.
Yep.
Patience. And these young ladies out there, they understand, coaches over and over again, you do not have to be first at the 400. You do not have to be first at the 400. And it comes from their competitive nature.
Sure.
They like
want to
being
win,
first,
right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So these young ladies will, let's watch over there in lanes number 5 and 6 and watch how they pull through this back half. The leader is Beitendorf.
35.43 on her split.
Now, is she the fastest swimmer in the pool? No, it looks like Paige Edmeyer.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Paige Edmeyer with a
fast split there.
35.38, your fastest swimmer in the pool. But Beitendorf, 2:16.27, your leader. Now, I'm watching over here in lane number 6. That's Edmeyer starting to build her tempo into the 400. So not worrying about being first. Looks like she's gradually building into the halfway point. Now keep an eye on Edmeyer. Keep an eye on Vargas. Keep an eye on your leader right now.
Edmeyer with another great split, 34.86. Beitendorf still your leader at this point, though.
Harder over there in lane number 9, starting to build
Also
through as well,
yeah.
34.91. So by watching the splits in this race, it kind of keeps us engaged. It keeps the athletes and the coaches and hopefully the viewers at home. Watch these young ladies. They're doing some amazing stuff out there. If you think it's just swimming at 800, it's not. They have to find that key race strategy that works for them, that stroke that works for them, that pace that works for them. Their coaches keeping them focused on their goals and building towards their goals. And our leader is still
Beitendorf. But I'm looking in lane 2. In lane 2, Mary Kate Phillips. She's having a great race as well so far.
Starting to build into it, isn't she? Looking strong. From St. Charles.
Sophia Vargas in lane 5, also keeping great pace. A great split by Beitendorf there, 35-32.
So as we go through these heats, these athletes are actually competing in the tank, the competition tank. Where do they warm up? Well, as we get a shot later, we'll talk about what's happening over in the water park pool.
Yeah.
And when you say warm, it's a lot warmer water. But you know, you have to be able to keep your body loose, and you have to stay engaged if you're in heat 10. So they have to find, this is not always the most important pool in the competition. All right, starting to tighten up a little bit here.
Beitendorf still your leader, but she did not have the best split, as Paige Edmeyer had another great split, 35.64.
Keep an eye on the field as we see people build through the back half of the race. Sophia Vargas' time, I think we had problems with that touchpad earlier in the girls' competition. So also watch from home. Again, lane 1 is at the bottom of your screen, lane 10 at the top, but on the scoreboard it is exactly opposite. So if you're watching from home, keep an eye on that screen on the board and make sure you're connecting with your favorite swimmer. It's fun watching great swimming. That's the one thing I get to do that makes this job so much fun, is I get to watch great swimming.
Well, and great competition as well. Like you said, even though these are timed events, you still get excited about seeing these young athletes perform.
Yeah, the coaches down here at the bottom, you can see them starting to get excited about their athlete, urging Paige Edmeyer on. And
she's having a great swim.
I don't know. Somebody says I'm not giving up this lead just yet, though. Keep an eye over here in lane number 2. That's Phillips. You called her name earlier. Now watch, if you're watching from home, watch your favorite athlete. If your favorite swimmers over there in 8, 9, and 10. Some great racing going on in 8, 9, and 10 right now. And
9 and 10, Isabella Harder and Claire Russell, respectively.
And those young ladies are pushing each other to best times. And again, it goes back to how your competition can make you better, and why you need to race, why the athletes need to race. This isn't an event that's swum all too often in competition. It's not offered very often. And
Sydney Maxwell at that group at the top as well. In lane 8, she's having a great swim.
She is. All right, so let's take a look at our leader over here in lane number 4, and she's not giving up the ship.
No, she is not. She's got about a full body length now, a little more.
Allison Beitendorf from Woodstock. She is strong in the middle of this race right now. She has got her or stroke in rhythm. If he had a stopwatch on that 1, 2, 3 stroke rate,
Coming up on another split
steady,
here.
consistent. Let's see what her split is.
35-31.
And her competition second behind her is Paige
Paige
Edmeyer.
Edmeyer.
So the fastest swimmer in the pool is Allison from Woodstock. Lane number 2, Phillips. Looks like she's hanging tough for third. Here comes Vargas in the middle of the pool making a move.
Yeah, still keeping our eye on at the top of your screen. Lanes 10, 9, and 8. Claire Russell, Isabella Harder, and Sydney Maxwell grouped together nicely.
So if we take a look at the bottom, let's say you're in lane 1 or you're in the closer lanes.
Shannon
outside
Blumenfield
lane.
in lane 1.
You know, your coach is standing right there. And sometimes your coach gets you through the race. Sometimes your coach will actually talk to you through the race without talking to you. In other words, hand signals.
And how important would you say that is?
Well, you know, you're out here by yourself. You can't see your competition in
Right.
lane 10. It's kind of it's a far piece to have to see what's happening on the other side of the pool, particularly with the glare. So the coaches are signaling to them where their competition is, and sometimes the athlete has to visualize that as well. Here we go.
Last 100, I believe.
Yep, that's with the bell lap. You can hear it through our microphones.
As Allison Beitendorf has a split time of 35-19. Having command of this heat so far. But again, Paige Edmeyer having a great swim as well in lane 6. A sub-35 split there for Allison Beitendorf as she swims her last 75 meters.
All right, Allison's best time is a 9:35.75. She's way ahead of that pace.
She's finishing strong.
And that young lady is going to be knocking on the door at breaking 9 minutes one of these days
Well, let's
soon.
keep an eye on Sophia Vargas as well, as Allison Beitendorf finishes up her 800 free with a 33.7 split and a 9:18.49 time.
And second was Edmeyer, and third was Phillips from St. Charles. Fourth was Vargas. And who had the fastest swim? That was your winner, Beitendorf.
Beitendorf, sub 34.
So she looks like she's going to crack the top 8 right now with her times.
Yep.
Your fastest time for the men is 8:23.61, set by Liam Hutchinson, and now we're into the men's heat.
As the second heat gets started for the men. In lane 1, we have Vince Chiappetta from Reach Aquatics Swim Club. In lane 2, we have Xander Guerrero from Swift Aquatics. In lane 3, Justin Lee from Wheaton Swim Club. In lane 4, Daniel Pusco from Swift Aquatics. In lane 5, Brendan Wagner from Elmhurst Swim Team. In lane 6, Austin Millard from Academy Bullets. In lane 7, Joseph Wan from New Trier Aquatics. In lane 8, Daniel McGowan. Joseph Wan is from Wheaton Swim Club. Daniel McGowan is from New Trier Aquatics. In lane 9, Aiden Dillon from YWCA Flying Fish. And in lane 10, Jason Reppy from Fox Valley.
Fastest seed in heat number 4, that's heat 2 of the men. Brendan Wagner from Elmhurst with an 8:50.22. And look at the race strategy unfolding here in this heat number 4. We have 4 guys that are probably neck and neck leading after the first 100.
In lane 2, looks like Xander Guerrero has a slight early lead. .32 on his split. Daniel Pusco right behind him with a 32.5-second split there.
Now let's watch, keep an eye in this race. Athletes are a little more quick tempoed, using their legs a little bit early. Not really. If you look at the legs, they're very relaxed in the first 4 or 5 swimmers, but their tempo is a little quick for the first 200 of the 800. So keep an eye on those athletes that are going to be extremely efficient. Distance per stroke, taking the least amount of strokes they can in the 800 to save that energy for the back half of the race.
An equal split there between Daniel Pusco and Xander Guerrero, 32.85 for those two gentlemen.
Looking very comfortable right now, your top 4 swimmers abreast, and look at where we have who's fighting for the next 5 spots.
Brendan Wagner in lane 5, Austin Millard, lane 6.
So lanes 1, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, all neck and neck as they turn at the far wall. 800-meter freestyle. Again, as we talk about the race, you'll see a little bit more comfortable race strategy on the first third of that race. In the 800 freestyle, athletes are going to build into that first 400. And as you'll see, when I say build, is because they want to be at pace when they flip at their turn at their 400.
And that's why I'm keeping an eye in lane 3. Justin Lee pacing himself. Looks like he's doing that very well so far.
Your leader over here in lane number 2 is still Guerrero.
33.44 on his split. Daniel Pusco actually had a slightly better split in lane 4, 33.38.
Good call on that. So when we're talking about who the fastest swimmer in the pool might be, it may not be your leader. So as
all depends on those split times.
So again, your fastest seed time was in lane number 5, and that was Brendan Wagner that we're seeing over there in lane number 6. That's Millard starting to come on strong from Academy Bullets. Looking for a pretty exciting finish here. So let's watch and see where they are at the 800. Let's kind of compare the 400s here and see where our leader was at the halfway point and how close he can get to that first 400 split.
Xander Guerrero and Daniel Pusco, your early leaders.
If I had to call who's taking the least amount of strokes, I'd say it'd be lane number 4 right now, and that'd be Pusco. Right now, he looks like the most efficient swimmer out there in the pool. Now let's watch a little bit as the athletes come off their turns. They won't spend as much time kicking underwater as you would see in a sprint. It is an aerobic swim, so you will see the athletes probably get a good coach will tell them get to the flags, get your heels to the flags of each wall, because occasionally what happens inside the flags to the wall of the flags will make a difference on who wins the swim.
Let's keep an eye on Austin Millard as well. He's starting to close the gap just a little bit. Had a great last split there.
Yep. Out there in lane number 9, looks like Dylan having a great swim as well. Whoa, what's happening over there in lane number 4, and you see this happen occasionally, is that he lost his goggles.
Yeah,
and you could tell because he had to stop for a second. He had to move the goggle. It either got caught underneath in his mouth or got caught to the point. So he is probably out there swimming with water in his goggles and swimming blind. He won't quit, and he'll keep fighting, but I guarantee you that's going to
It definitely seems to affect him at least a little bit at this point, I think.
All right, who's the fastest swimmer in the pool right now?
Let's see. It is Xander Guerrero with a 33.63 split.
Xander has gone out and led from the get-go.
Starting to pull away just a little bit now. But in lane 4 and lane 6, we've got some great racing going on as well between Daniel Pusco and the aforementioned Austin Millard.
Now, Pusco, he's swimming blind. He's doing okay right now. He's got a great efficient stroke. But Millard coming on strong in the middle of the pool. But your leader right now, wow, 33.57.
He seemed to be getting faster.
Right. And some of our touchpads are kind of malfunctioning a little bit, so I don't think Vince is a great swimmer, but he wouldn't hit a 24.62 on that 50 split in the 800. So
in lane 9, Aiden Dillon also had a great split, sub 34, 33.97.
We got some guys knocking on the door of staying under 34 seconds. Keep an eye on Dillon out there. He's going to knock off a few people on the back half of this race. That was the 600. Your leader bringing his times down,
Yes.
isn't he?
Xander Guerrero, a great split, 33.33. And again, he's got about a body and a half length now. It's definitely starting to take command of this particular heat. And it looks like in lane 6, Austin Millard is slightly ahead of Daniel Pusco now.
I'm not counting out Dylan out there in lane 9 as fast as he's
Yep.
going. Let's watch his split down here. Guerrero again. We'll talk about pacing. Pacing is trying to hit the exact same split every 50, and he just did. 33.35.
A great race.
Dylan, if that his time is right, he split a 31.93. That's cranking.
Yeah, he's getting stronger, and he's starting to close the gap on second and third
Well,
place at this point.
Occasionally touch pads will be off just a little bit. Let's see what he splits on this next one. If he hits right at that 32 low mark, we'll know he's right on that pace. Now your leader over here from the get-go. Let's see what he split. Holy cow, he's getting
Xander
faster.
Guerrero.
33.10. Dylan, yeah, see, you can tell how the touch pads were just slightly off, but you can tell he's having a great swim.
He is.
He didn't split a 35 there. There's no way. That young man's building through this race pretty strong. Millard is in second. Looks
And
like Pusco's going to hang on for third. Again, closing speed here. Your leader from start to finish over here in lane number 2. You're talking about favorite lane? Well, that's his favorite lane.
Well,
whatever lane you swim the fastest in, right?
He's definitely swimming like that so far. He's closing strong here, coming up on his last 60 meters. A sub-33 split on that last 32.93. He is ending strong. As Xander Guerrero swims his last 10 meters. Comes in with a 30.75
Nice
split.
closing speed.
8:43.80 is his time.
He's dropped 16 seconds according to his split time. Seed time, sorry, not split time, seed time.
Still leaves your leader, Liam Hutchinson, so far at 8:23.61. But a great swim by Xander Guerrero.
Yes, fun to watch. All right, now we're back into the girls' competition. This is heat number 5, which is heat 3 of the women's 800 freestyle. Fastest time is your meet record holder, current meet record holder, Kaylee Lovell from heat 1, 8:56.84.
In the pool they are. In lane 1, Hannah Giles from Delta Aquatics. In lane 2, Elizabeth Freeberger from NASA Wildcat Aquatics. In lane 3, Madeline McFarland from Academy Bullets. In lane 4, Jenna Keating from Chicago Wolfpack. In lane 5, Aiden Donfrey from Barrington Swim Club. In lane 6, Tatum Burick from Hickory Willow Swim Association. In lane 7, McKenna Stone from Fox Valley. In lane 8, Elise Jacobs from Lake Forest. In lane 9, Leon Fong from Swift Aquatics. And in lane 10, Mia Drago from Alligator Aquatics.
So if you look across the field, again, take a look at the ages.
Yep.
15, 17, 16, 15, 19, 15, and 14. So we're seeing a good representation of senior swimming in the 800 freestyle. You may see a little different type of race strategy. You see some of our best, and when I say best, some of our national level sprinters in this event. Occasionally a coach will put an athlete who swims the 50 and the 100 in a distance event.
Okay.
Keeps them balanced. Help, actually distance swimming will help keep an athlete balanced. It helps the rotation. Sometimes when you sprint, you swim with a flatter body, and there's a coach out there who will say, I just want you to work on your aerobic conditioning. Treat this as a workout today. I said, we want you to get back into racing. We want you to find your stroke again. And sometimes by swimming long events, and athletes will find better balance. They don't have to necessarily go fast, but a coach will put them in there, and then all of a sudden they'll warm up within the swim. They'll start feeling their stroke again, and that's when you'll see a strong back half.
So far in lane 1, That is Hannah Giles with a slight lead.
You can call that, huh?
Slight.
Slight. Man, these girls, they're into racing mode
Yes,
right
they
now.
are.
There's definitely a race mentality going on in this field.
In lane 7, McKenna Stone is having a great race as well.
Who's
And
the fastest swimmer in the pool?
looks like McFarland in lane 3. Madeline McFarland with the fastest
Hannah
split there.
Giles.
Oh,
out
I'm sorry.
there.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Delta. Lane number 1 with a 36.53 at a 2:20 pace on the way out.
Elizabeth Freeberger in lane 2 also had a great split.
All right, let's keep an eye. And a great way for us to watch who is making their move, how their race strategy unfolds, is by watching that scoreboard. And as you see on the right-hand side of the board, which will have the unofficial times, you can see where the athletes from each heat will be ranked. So as we're keeping an eye on the top swimmer, you can see where your favorite swimmer from previous heats is now ranked. So that becomes a target for these young ladies in the later heats.
We'll have to keep an eye on Elise Jacobs' split time. Not sure if that was correct, but if it was, that was a great split by her.
It's like lane number 2. You mentioned her name, Freiberger, starting to move up. Now, turns and distance swimming is, again, you know what, it's a lot of swimming in between the flags. It is a long course race, but turns and maintaining pacing are very, very important. You see some of the athletes going into that last turn actually stopped. And what you saw is placing or position in the race changed. So a girl that was first or second going in came out third or fourth.
Right.
Or lost their lead because of breathing into a turn. So coaches talk about how important turns are in a distance race as well.
Are those turns chances for swimmers, for those who don't know, are they chances for them to not necessarily rest, but to sort of regather themselves just a little bit? Or
no way. The athletes out there don't want to restart every 50. It takes more energy to glide into a turn and restart your effort over again than it does to maintain it.
Okay.
So here in lane number 3, starting to make a move is McFarland. Lane number 4 coming on is Keating.
Right behind her. And also, again, can't forget in lane 2, Elizabeth Freeberger. Nice little group there.
Watch the turns here. Now look at the quick heels. Very quick heels in lanes 2 and 3. Both Freiberger and McFarland, good, strong snap to the wall, trying to use their turns to get back and race the faster athletes in the pool. Now look what's happening.
Sub 36 by McFarland.
Yep.
With that split.
We've got a race going on for first, second, and third, but look at lanes 5, 6, 7, and 9.
Yeah.
Right now, we've got racing going on within racing. Even over there in lane number 8 and 10, we got some great racing going on.
Aiden Donefree in lane 5, Tatum Burrick in lane 6, McKenna Stone in lane 7. Some great racing going on there. McFarland, another split, sub 36 split, 35.92. Have to keep an eye on lane 4, though. Jenna Keating is not too far behind. She had a great split.
You can tell the race strategy difference. Over there, being very patient on the front 400 was lane number 3. That was McFarland, very, very patient, built into the front half. Now watch over there in lanes 5, 6, and 7, same thing. The race strategies unfold. And it unfolds for them personally. The competition has a lot to do with keeping you engaged. When I say that is your mind doesn't wander. You don't start thinking about how tired you are. You're thinking about racing.
Speaking of those turns, in lane 4, Jenna Keating had a great turn there.
So if you watch the distance swimmers in this heat, or particularly these athletes that are swimming this event, you don't see them overusing their legs. Sometimes you see a 2 to 4 beat crossover kick. You see the 3 to 4 beat kick. Or sprinters, you will see use a 6 beat kick continuously through their race. Where the athletes are either very easy on their legs, or they use what's called a 2 beat or 4 beat kick within the race. You don't see them overusing their legs. Now your leader over here in lane number 3 is McFarland, but you can see her using her legs for balance, not for speed.
Okay.
That keeps her body riding higher on top of the water. She feels more comfortable. That's the way she trains. McFarland's seed time was 9:48.33. So let's watch her as she comes through the back half here. I think she'll be way ahead of that seed time.
36.77 on her split.
Is she the fastest swimmer in the pool? 36.76.
Leanne Fong in lane 9, keeping great pace.
All right, so sometimes how you approach your race at the beginning sets your race up to win the heat, but other athletes are finding their way and learning how to swim the race, and they find their stroke. They feel more comfortable. They listen to their coach. They learn how to swim it progressively. I will go out this fast this meet and come home stronger. I'll go out this fast this meet, get closer to about 400 times.
Well, Rachel McFarland is certainly looking stronger. Another great split time there, 36.73. Not the fastest in the pool, though, at this point. Tatum Burrick with another great split there, 36.48.
You called McKenna Stone's name earlier in the competition. Here
35,
she comes.
Yeah.
Let's watch what she splits here. One of our better sprinters in our LSC in Illinois swimming, coming on strong in the back half of this 800. All right, your leader
is McFarland coming into the last 100. 36.83 on that split. Tatum Burrick, McKenna Stone, a great split there, Tony, 35.20.
Oh, she's going to run out of pool, but she sure is having a great
yes,
back half. It's going to take under 9:30 to get in the top 8. Right now we're watching the unofficial times on the scoreboard as well, so it looks like a 9:26 is probably going to get you into the top 8 right now, so let's keep an eye on
Rachel McFarland.
Faster than a 9:26. All right, keep an eye on McFarland's time. She looks like she's going to be 9:37-ish, something along those lines, 9:36. She's going to be 10 seconds faster than that seed time, that's for sure. Here comes McKenna Stone.
Look at
well, she's a racer. Look at the way, and she's bilaterally breathing, but she can see her competition. And you can tell racers, they just sneak peek, and they know where their competition's at, and they use it.
Tatum Burrick in lane 6,
there
but
you go.
McKenna Stone in lane 7. Looks like she will finish second. Madeline McFarland finishes first with a 9:36.99 time.
9:36 will get her in the top 12 right now of our unofficial results that have hit the pool right now. In the top 12, so great swim there. Madeline.
Still leaves Kaylee Lovell as your leader at this point.
All right, heat 3 of the men. Again, 8:23.66 by Liam Hutchinson in heat 1, your fastest time so far.
In lane 1 in this third heat, Drew Wilson from Academy Bullets. In lane 2, Liam Davis from Maverick Swim Club. In lane 3, Daniel Vertigo from Alligator Aquatics. In lane 4, Sean Yetter from St. Charles Swim Team. In lane 5, Zachary Ekstrom from Academy Bullets. In lane 6, Daniel Emery from Barrington Swim Club. In lane 7, James Ochoa from Hickory Willow Swim Association. In lane 8, Jack DeMarco from Delta Aquatics. In lane 9, Gage Rittinger from Wheaton Swim Club. And lane 10, Evan Villeneuve from Fox Valley Swim Team. Fastest seed time is held by Zachary Ekstrom with 9:10.18.
I don't know if you noticed or not, but he got shot out of a cannon.
Yeah.
That young man is out for something here. Out there on lane number 10, you mentioned Villanova from Fox. He's like, okay, I'm out there on lane number 9. I'm going to call outside smoke. It's kind of a, if you win from lane 1 or 10, you win a heat from lane 1 or 10, it's called outside smoke.
Okay.
It's kind of a pride thing. So you know, if you look at this pool and you're talking about a fast pool, what lane to be in, well, lanes 1 and 10 don't have anybody next to them, and the wash, the waves are actually going out through the lane line and into the gutter system. It's not kicking back on the athletes. It's actually a preferable lane, if you think about it, but the fastest seat times end up in the middle. So outside smoke over there, and Zach Ekstrom, oh, wow.
In lane 5, yeah, he is looking great right now.
He was a 9:10, 1:8 coming in. Where'd he get that time from? This young man looks like he's killing it. All right.
Wow, sub 34 split there, 2:08.
Let's not lose sight of our back half swimmers here. Over here in lane number 2, looks like Liam Davis looks strong, building his way through his race. He's getting a good distance per stroke, which means that he's traveling farther off one stroke than many of the other athletes in the pool.
Daniel Emery in lane 6 as well. Also someone to keep an eye on.
And again, that's race strategy. Coaches work on this on an ongoing basis. They will work with their athletes up to a competition and make them race ready. In other words, they do what's called takeout swims. I want you to do a 300, and I want you to be at the pace and the stroke rate that you are going to be in this race on Thursday. So those takeout swims are actually helping the athlete feel the water, feel the pace, feel the time, and they'll use that over and over and over again to be able to get that so it's muscle memory for those athletes and not have to think their way through the swim.
Answer the question for me. Does that contribute to sort of the muscle memory mentality of it? Is the comfortability of having those?
Well, you know, what did I say earlier about athletes not spending too much time underwater? Well, watch your leader here as he comes off the wall. He's doing some long, strong turns. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a little stroke count over the next. I'm going to give you the calls here, and I'm going to do a little stroke count on our athletes in the pool, because out there in the outside lane, Villanova is like really starting to just dig deep with that catch out front against good, strong pulls.
Liam Davis is also having a great swim so far. As Ekstrom has a sub 35 split, 34.39. Not the fastest in the pool, though. Looks like Liam Davis has the fastest split with a 33.71. This is a guy we had to keep an eye on earlier in lane 2 is Davis. Closing the gap just a little bit. Again, Daniel Emery in that mix as well, as Ekstrom has a 34-31 split. But Liam Davis coming on strong with almost 34 seconds even on his split. At this moment, he is the fastest guy in the pool. Zachary Ekstrom looking strong in lane 5 as he makes another turn, gets a strong push.
So let's take a look at your leader, and in first and second place swimmers in the middle of the pool. That's Zach Ekstrom, and he's a young man. He's like the Energizer Bunny right now. He just keeps going, but he took 49 strokes. Your second place swimmer over here that you've been calling is having the faster splits, is taking 38 strokes per length.
Wow.
Which means his efficiency is what's pulling him up and why he's hitting faster paces. Keep an eye on Daniel Emery.
And Liam Davis as well. He is coming on strong in lane 2. Let's check his split times. Yeah, I thought so. 34 seconds even. But Daniel Emery, as you just alluded to, being efficient with his strokes, he's got a sub 34 split.
Well, let's see if Daniel gets up into the wake here.
He's pretty close to doing that. He's pretty much at Ekstrom's hip at this point.
Distance swimming is kind of taking an interesting turn as the athletes now hold a little quicker tempos in the 800s than they would have many, many years ago. But athletes train at faster pace. Instead of swimming over and over repeats of 800s, athletes are swimming at 800 and then breaking it up into hundreds or 50s to swim at pace. So they keep their aerobic conditioning, but then they're also now moving towards practicing more race pace in practice, and that's what you're seeing here. That's starting to shine.
Liam Davis with a sub 34 split there.
So he and Emery are starting to
As
look like
Ekstrom
they're going to be the strongest on the back half.
tails off a little bit. You think it was a mistake for him to get out of the gate so early? Seems as though he's.
We said that, and then in the previous boys heat, we saw a young man that just led wire to wire. So, again, it's where coaches coach you to be. And did that catch up with him a little bit? Maybe, but he's going to learn from it too. So it's not necessarily a bad thing to be able to be aggressive in a race if the coaches think you can hold it.
In lane 6, Daniel Emery has taken over the lead. He has a body length lead over Ekstrom now. Let's check his split times. Sub 34 again, seeming to get stronger as the race progresses.
We've still got a nice race coming down to this last 100 belt lap coming up. Again, if you look at the top 10, it's going to take for the guys 800. What's it going to take to get into that top 8? Some of these guys, again, it's a time final event. Top 8 is going to take a 52. Top 8 is 8:52. Let's see where these gentlemen are. I think they got a good shot at it.
I agree.
See what they can get home with. It's going to be tight, though. They're going to have to bring it home strong.
Emery
They'll be in the top
swimming
12, maybe.
Outstandingly. 33.82 on his last split. In lane 2, Liam Davis also having a great split, sub 34 there.
Outside smoke over there in lane number 10's been coming the whole time.
Evan Villeneuve.
He's got his coach over there right on him. So, again, that goes back to where your coach sometimes is positioned. Getting the hands up, getting him, keep saying, you're doing great, you're doing great, you're doing great. Swimmers see that, and they just keep pushing.
Wow, almost a sub 33 split there for Daniel Emery.
All right, he's going to be like 56, 52 probably. Sorry, 55.
As he comes up on his last 50 meters. A body length lead over Liam Davis in lane 2. And looks like in lane 10, Evan Villeneuve is in third place now as Daniel Emery finishes up. Wow, sub 33 split time. 8:55.45 is his final.
Watching at home, you can see the running times. That 8:55 will get him into the top 12 the way it looked as it flashed through. 8:55 will get him in. Yep, they'll move up into that top 12 place with that swim. We're into heat number 4 of the women. Heat 7 overall. Got a lot of information from the scoreboard here at Pleasant Prairie Recplex as you're watching the splits, total times from the athletes, and also the unofficial running times on the right-hand side of that scoreboard.
As the women start in lane 1, Olivia White from Moline Blue Marlins. In lane 2, Ashton Ammerman from Peoria Area Water Wizards. In lane 3, Ashley Kamen from Coho Swim Club. In lane 4, Olivia Klafta from Nassau Wildcat Aquatics. In lane 5, Nina Molin from Academy Bullets. In lane 6, Emily Schulstad from Weech Aquatics. In lane 7, Raina Harder from Joliet Y Jet Swim Team. In lane 8, Kiernan Lynch from West Swim Club. In lane 9, Gretchen Behrens from Hickory Willow Swim Association. And in lane 10, Leah Drangenberg from Sterling Stingray. As they finish their first 100, looks like lane 2, Ashton Ammerman is your early leader. 34.63 on her split there.
Kind of watch some of these young ladies like Ashton over here in lane number 2, just kind of riding high on top of the water right now. Nice and relaxed stroke. So she looks like she's out fast, but she's also out with some easy speed, which means she's not overusing her legs. And that's what coaches try to get all athletes at all, distances and events to try to be able to create early speed through your efficiency on the way out so you have more left on the back half.
Speak to that efficiency in lane 1. I'm looking at Olivia White, not using her legs as much, but still having enough speed.
Nina.
Right about at 3rd place right now, but in lane 10, Leah Drangenberg is swimming a great meet so far.
Nina Mullen over here in lane number 5 from Academy. Who's the fastest swimmer of the pool right now?
It looks like it is Nina Mullen with a 35-4 split time. Yes.
Nina is out at a 2:18.96. Your leader
again,
is Ammerman.
Yep.
2:18.46.
But great swimming in the middle lanes and far lanes as well. In lane 3, Ashley Kamen. Lane 4, Olivia Klofta, swimming a great meet so far as well. Lanes 6, 7, and 8, Emily Schulstad, Raina Harder, and Kiernan Lynch grouped together nicely.
So when the athletes make their improvements within the actual race itself, they don't make it by full seconds. What you see is they bring tenths of seconds. We saw that in the last heat. Young man who was bringing it down 10th at a time,
Yeah,
10th
Daniel
at a
Emery.
time,
Yep.
10th at a time. And that, you know, he gets into, when you build your pace, you don't take yourself out of the race, if that makes sense. I didn't mean to sound like a rhyme, but it did. And I'll kind of have to remember that one now.
Yep.
But, all right, Ammerman back
Ammerman,
of being the fastest swimmer to pool at 35.40. So, again, did you cite your competition or did your coach point that competition out? And you look across the pool, we got some great racing going on. And it's well, for 3rd place, you know, every one of those girls got a shot at 3rd place. Kind of depends on how that back half unfolds for them.
Looks like in lane 10 has a slight lead on 3rd place at this point, Leah Drangenberg from Sterling Stingrays. But in lane 1, Olivia White is right there.
The fastest swimmer in the pool.
Nina Mullen continuing her great splits there, sub 35, 34.94.
And that came from a turn. So you're going back to taking a look at what's called race analysis. Coaches will actually find data to be able to break their races down and show them multiple ways. You don't have to swim any faster in between the flags. Let's swim faster from flags to wall to flags and see if we knock some time off our best time. If you ever get stuck and get in a plateau, let's find little ways to be able to improve our race. Wow.
Another great split there by Nina Mullen.
Ammerman.
And Ammerman, yeah.
Fastest swimmer in the pool right now.
35.23 was Ammerman on her split. Mullen right behind her, 35.29. But it looks like Mullen has a slight lead. And I say slight because it is.
Dragenberg, you called it earlier. Another lane 10 outside smoke, great swim. We've seen that happen more than once today. Lane 1 also, 2 outside smoke, great swims going on right now. You called Olivia White earlier.
Let's keep an eye on lane 4 as well, Olivia Klofta. She's right there in that group.
All right,
Second, third, and fourth.
They're on the back half of their swims right now. Young ladies are holding right at that 110 mark.
Another great split by Mullen, sub 35 on that, 34.8.
Mullen's time coming in is a 9:54.92. Ammerman's time coming in, well, that's a yard time. So what I was saying is earlier, some of these athletes have not qualified for this meet in meters.
Okay.
They qualified this meet by making a short course time standard because they'll swim the 1,000 free, which is the sister event to the 800.
Mullen increasing her lead just a little bit, about a half a body length over Ammerman. But Ammerman's starting to close that gap just a little bit.
All right, let's take a look at some of the unofficial times running up there and see the results here. A lot of these young ladies are shooting to make the Speedo sectional meet or the Futures, USA's Futures time standard. So let's keep an eye on some of the times that they're throwing down here tonight on our first day of competition. 10th place for the guys. Let's see what the girls look like, what these young ladies got to hit, get in that top 10. Mullen and Ammerman still hammering it out in the middle of the
Battling
pool.
for first and second.
And then we got 1, 10, and 4. battling it out for that third spot.
In lane 1, Olivia White, and in lane 10, Leah Dringenberg battling for those 2 spots, as you say. But in lane 4,
from Wild. All right, 35.0 from Mullen, 35.3 for Ammerman.
Really consistent with Mullen splits times, right around 35 seconds.
That's great pacing. Now you watch her consistency in and out of the walls. That's what's impressing me about her race right now. All right, now with your battle going on for third, let's watch who's got the best turns out of this starting in turn. I got to give it to lane 1 out here, Olivia Wild.
I think Klopka had a great turn
Olivia
as well.
White.
She's in lane 4. But let's keep an eye on lane 8.
Yeah.
That is Kiernan Lynch.
She's coming on strong. That split didn't show it, but I bet you, guarantee you that she's going to be stronger on this one. Mullen and Ammerman throwing the hammer down here on the back half of this race here.
Mullen's increasing her lead now about a full body's length ahead of Ashton Ammerman.
All right, they're going to be right around that Futures time standard if they can get it home. 9:13 for the young ladies, 7:9.
Last 100. Again, consistency for Nina Mullen, 35.29 on her split. Not sure if that split's official, but I thought I saw 32.8 from Olivia White. Probably not.
Probably not. But, you know, the pads are kind of misfiring a little bit tonight, but we're going to give her great effort on that one, though. You can tell by how she's swimming in the race itself. Bell laps for all the rest of the young ladies are fighting for third in this heat. It's Kafta outside smoking
lane
one.
4.
And you're not, Coach, right down here, Coach for Olivia White down here. He's walking the entire 800 with her.
Said
Told
that
the
earlier.
Fitbit, man, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
We got to keep
Well,
away.
she's making a push right now. She's definitely making a push.
Well, I'm telling you, it helps. Nina Mullen closing strong.
Yeah, 35 seconds. She's been steady.
All right,
As they finish up the last 25 meters there, Ammerman and Mullen.
Her time was 9:54 coming in. I don't think so. 9:14. 9:19. 69.
Oh, 9:19, yes. 9:19.61 for Nina Mullen. Ashton Ammerman at 9:22.
And that 9:19, we keep flashing the guys' 800 unofficials. Not seeing the women right now, but third place right here with a great swim over here. Looks like Olivia White.
And
yeah.
I believe it is Olivia White.
9:49.40 with the third place. Those splits are a little off if you're watching at home.
Fourth place, Leah Dringenberg. Fifth place.
Harder, right?
Yep.
Rena Harder. All right.
As we get started with the men.
This is heat 8.
The fourth men's heat. And they're in the pool in lane 1. Matthew Gorney from Delta Aquatics. Jacob Menon is in lane 2 from Unattached. Lane 3, Henry Gabriel from Reach Aquatics. Lane 4, Samuel Dienstag from Nutrier Aquatics. Lane 5, Brendan Long from YWCA Flying Fish. Lane 6, Joseph Kibben from Unattached West. Lane 7, Brandon Lee from Hickory Willow. Lane 8, Henry Olenek from West Swim Club. Lane 9, Ben Ketchum from Nutrier Aquatics. And in lane 10, Jackson Aarons from Funky Fish Swim Club.
Gotta love the name.
I do. Those first 100 meters looks like Henry Olenek is your early leader. But again, it's very early, and most of the swimmers are still grouped together nicely.
And again, as you look at our psych sheets, our heat sheets that we have, the last 4 heats that we're going to see are all seated with yard time, so we won't know if these young athletes are getting their best meters times, but they're definitely going, potential is very high. If they don't have the cut in meters, these young men and young ladies are shooting to make the actual long course meter cut for this meet as well.
Sam Dienstag in lane 4. Swimming nicely with an early lead, but in lane 6, Joseph Kibben, and in lane 7, Brendan Lee are right there with him. Also in lane 8, Henry Olenek is also having a great race so far. Great split there by Dienstag, 34.22. But great splits all around. Joseph Kibben right behind him with a 34.85 split. In lane 7, 6, and 5, a nice group there. As we come up on another turn. Dienstag again, fastest man in the pool with a 34.35 split. Brendan Lee, a great split right behind him, 34.47. But let's keep an eye on lane 2, Jacob Menon. He is right behind that first group, but is closing slightly. Sub 35 split there for Sam Dienstag. In lane 7, Brendan Lee is in second place currently, but right behind him in lane 6 is Joseph Kibben. Sub 34 on that split for Sam Dienstag, 33.63. As he's got about a full body length over second and third place. Starting to widen that gap just a little bit. Coming up on another split here. We'll check that time, 34.05 on Dienstag's split. Henry Olenek in lane 8 had a great split as well, 35.21. And Samuel Dienstag is starting to widen that gap now. He's got about a length and a half ahead on the field. But some great groupings in lanes 6, 7, and 8 between Joseph Kibben, Brendan Lee, and Henry Olenek. Don't think that split time is right for Joseph Kibben, but a great split nonetheless. 35.61 is the time for Brendan Lee, 35.29 for Henry Olenek. The battle for second place right now is in lane 8 and in lane 6. Henry Olenek in 8, Joseph Kibben in lane 6. As Samuel Dienstag now has about a 2 to 2.5 length body, 2.5 length body lead, I should say, on the rest of the swimmers. And not using that much energy as well, which means he's being very efficient and pulling away from the field. A very strong heat so far for him.
So being out there by yourself sometimes is not always an easy thing. That's where you sometimes are looking for your coach. You're looking for a race we're looking for Katie Ledecky, for an example. She's so
Yes.
far ahead of everybody else that sometimes she needs to find ways to stay engaged. And whether that's a coach or whether she's just that type of a focused athlete, you know, when you're out there by yourself at this point in time, you need to focus on something. Look for your coach. Look for your competition. Focus on the little things that the coach tells you. They always give the athletes keywords. Now, he's what's called a bilateral breather.
Okay.
So he is taking 2 breaths out of his right side, then he goes to 2 breaths out of his left side, or 1 breath out of his left side. Now, it isn't necessarily a bad thing, because what he's doing is it helps him keep his body balance, the rotation equally to both sides, and it's helping him be equally strong on both poles on both sides. So that's what's making him very, very strong right now. That and really being prepared coming into the race, because he knew potentially that coming in with the yard time, he's going to be a faster swimmer than many of the other people out in the heat, and you're hoping somebody's going to give him a race.
Well, not in this particular heat. A sub-34 split for Samuel Dienstag. In second place, a bit behind in lane 8, is Henry Olenek. He's having a great swim.
He's coming on pretty strong, isn't he?
He is. But let's keep an eye on lane 10 at the top of your screen. Jackson Aarons from Funky Fish. Love that name again. He's also having a strong heat.
All right. If we had to call the fastest lane in the pool, what would it be?
It would be Dienstag at this point. He is another sub-34 split, 33.74. At this point, it is definitely a battle for who will come in second in lane 10, Jackson Aarons. But in lane 8, Henry Olenek is right there with him. As Samuel Dienstag comes up on the last 50 meters.
What's his seed time coming in?
It is 10:04. 4-3, but again, that's in yards.
It's in yards. Good call. Come on, get under that 9 minutes, son. You've had a great swim.
Let's see if he can do it.
Oh, come on. Oh.
Not quite, but a great split time right at 9 minutes. 9 minutes and 25 thousandths of a second.
So as you mentioned, Jackson Aarons over there from Funky Fish. So again, I don't know, we had to call 5-6 races outside smoke in lane number 10 and lane number 1. So
as we get ready for the 9th heat, it's the 5th heat for the women.
all right, so we're looking at 3 more heats left in tonight's competition.
And they are in the water in lane 1. We have Elise Bullman from Chicago Wolfpack. In lane 2, Alexa Starkey from Funky Fish. In lane 3, Donna Keurig from Academy Bullets. In lane 4, Lindsey Johnson, also from Academy Bullets. In lane 5, we have Renee Tan from Chicago Wolfpack. In lane 6, Mackenzie Lipnick from Delta Aquatics. In lane 7, Julie Warren from Alligator Aquatics. In lane 8, Michelle Gorney from Delta Aquatics. In lane 9, Brooke Walker from Bloomington Normal. And in lane 10, Katie O'Connell from Academy Bullets.
It's going to be a fun race to watch by the way it's shaping up right now.
Renee Tan with the fastest seed time, although it is in yards, with 10:52.31.
And 35.19 is Lipnick. Your fastest swimmer in the pool at the 100. Lane number 3, building into the front half of her swim. That's Curate.
In lane number 5, Renee Tan, the aforementioned Renee Tan. But in lane 6, in that first grouping, is Mackenzie Lipnick. As we come up on another turn here. Looks like
hard to call, right?
Yeah, Donna Keurig, I believe. Well, we have to check that Michelle Gorney split. I'm not sure if that's right.
I doubt if 30.92 is right, but again, we're getting some funky readouts tonight. That's all right. We can see who's out front.
Yes, we can.
And
Donna Keurig in lane 3. But in lane 5 and 6, respectively, Renee Tan and Mackenzie Lipnick are also right there with her.
Nice quick heels into the turn for Lipnick. Watching
Renee Tan.
these young ladies that are doing well on the walls, you'll find out, if you talk to an athlete that you see plateaus at some point in their career, and everybody does. They get tired, they get stuck, they get over-swim the same event over and over and over again. Sometimes you take a flyer and flip her over on the back just to be a backstroker, and all of a sudden they're getting best times again. They're not out of shape. They're the best fit in the best fit shape they've ever been in their entire lives, and just a race gets stale. So they find ways to be able to make up time. Goes back to me talking about the turns and how the athletes in the pool will move up through the turns, not just through this. When you have a great turn, you're not restarting the 50. You save energy by working your turn in some form, fashion, or another.
Okay.
So these over here in lane number 5 that we're seeing starting to move up in that middle of the pool is Renee Tan.
Yep. In lane 6, though, again, Mackenzie Lipnick, they're right there together.
Over there in lane 10 again, having a nice swim outside smoke is O'Connell.
In lane 9 as well, Brooke Walker, and in lane 8, Michelle Gorney.
So as I said, it could be a fun race to watch. Good racing going on in lanes 1 and 2, pushing each other down the pool.
In lane 1, Elise Bullman and Alexa Starkey in lane 2.
All right, so you look at over here in lane number 5, that was Tan, your early leader, or excuse me, your leader at the midpoint of the race, and she moved over to the right-hand side of the lane. All right, avoiding any type of drafting, but you got to watch out if she goes back to the other side. Let's see where she comes out of this turn. Does she circle swim?
Looks
see how
like
now? She's now circle swimming. She's going down the right side, back the left side, which means she's swimming more than a 50 meter or 100 in 100. She's swimming incremental distances more by circle swimming. That comes from practice habits, because in practice they do have to circle swim to avoid hitting each other. But in a meet,
that
in
can
a competition, well, you want to swim 801 meters and the other person swims 800. That works. The other person may have the odds that they're going to beat you.
In lanes 5 and 6.
Right, and it's neck and neck.
Yes, it is.
But outside smoke in lane 10.
Cannot forget about Katie O'Connell.
I think somebody opened the door and there's a breeze out there. There has to be something in lane 10, because you said, what's the favorite lane? Well, I'm calling lane 10.
She is coming on strong in 3rd place at this moment and definitely threatening the 2 leaders.
Lane 8 as well. Gorney.
Yep.
Delta. All right, they were. Keep an eye on O'Connell out there, because I see our 2 leaders starting to drop off just a touch. Watch the turns here. Beautiful heels through on both turns. 37.0. Look at the split. 36.6. 36.6 for O'Connell out there. So she's probably the fastest swimmer in the pool. The time from Michelle Gorney.
Yeah, we'll have to
take a look at that.
Probably not right. But like you said, Katie O'Connell is swimming a strong race right now, right on the heels of 1st and 2nd place. It looks like Mackenzie Lipnick has taken over the lead slightly from Renee Tan. We'll see. Coming off of this next split. 36.69 for Mackenzie Lipnick. Sub 37, 37.31 for Renee Tan.
And notice how Lipnick just kind of stays in the middle of the lane. She doesn't take a lot of strokes. She's got some great angles and levers. So when you see her hand dig down deep in the water, you see how that elbow stays up high underwater. Really getting some good power from each one of those strokes.
Let's still keep an eye on Katie O'Connell, though. 36.9 on her last split. As Renee Tan drops off the pace just slightly.
Far end of the pool, you see the lap counters. They are in the water to be able to keep the athletes on track of how many lengths they have swum. You're not
36.64, that last split for Mackenzie Lipnick.
Lipnick's really starting to turn it on.
But again, you have to keep an eye on lane 10 with Katie O'Connell. She had a great split as well, 36.67.
See how active O'Connell's legs are right now. Shows that she's in good condition, strong on the back half. Focused on that front half to be easy on the legs, and here she comes.
Mackenzie Lipnick, your leader, 37.03 split, but the fastest in the pool at this point, Katie O'Connell, 36.33, getting faster.
She's got her coach over on the other side of the pool that's blowing the whistle. I don't mean a whistle. He's just got a great whistle. Some coaches can really, you know, break a few eardrums with those whistles they have.
Oh, yeah.
I think I've lost 30% hearing next to some of those people. It wasn't a rock concert. It was a coach whistling in my ear. Just saying. So here we go. This is going to turn into a great race on the back half here. See, the 13s are in the water from the lap counters at the far end.
37.10, that last split for Mackenzie Lipnick.
I don't think she split a 32.5.
No, I don't think so either.
Let's just keep an eye on the racing. Let's watch racing for racing's sake.
But I believe, let's see here, Tony.
I don't think Renee Tan's ready to give up the ship yet
No,
either.
I don't think so.
She's just doing a little circle swimming. It may have caused her just to get out of it, but she's get right back into her pace again. Whatever happened in the middle where she lost her rhythm, now she's right back into her pace again. Oh, here we go with the bell lap, and it's going to come down to closing speed. They see each other.
Oh,
they see each other.
I am sure they do.
I would say they're probably both at 36 pace, but I can't tell you who
there.
was.
36.52 for Mackenzie Lipnick. Not sure on that last split for Katie O'Connell, but it looks like Katie O'Connell may have a slight lead.
No,
they're going there, nudging back and forth.
She's got her coach over there on the side. Coach is pointing at the other swimmers because she's breathing out of her left side. She's going to come back breathing out of her left side and see her competition on the way home.
Last turn here for these ladies. Mackenzie Lipnick, Katie O'Connell.
Boom, boom. Lipnick had the touch at the turn.
36.93 on that split.
I think O'Connell had the faster split, but Lipnick really brought her legs through on that turn. Let's see if it pays off.
This is going to be an exciting finish. Tony, last 50 meters.
Oh, they see each other.
They seem to be dead tied.
They see each other.
Who will touch that wall first?
Oh, this is great
Both
racing.
Swimmers pushing for that wall.
Oh, Lipnick's
last
not giving
10
up
meters
the ship.
Looks
She's not
like
giving
Lipnick
it up.
is going to get there first.
No breathing from the flags on in for either of them. Great job, ladies.
Lipnick gets in first. A great split, 34.49. Her time is 9:41.02.
Again, these young ladies came in with yard seed time, so it's hard for us to know if they got best times. But you can usually tell these young ladies with great effort are probably knocking it out of the park. 2 more heats to go.
2 more heats, yeah. 5th heat for the men, 10th heat overall. In the water they go. In lane 1, we have Everett Andrew from NASA Wildcat Aquatics. In lane 2, we have Brendan Larkin from New Trier Aquatics. In lane 3, we have Luke Wagner from NASA Wildcat Aquatics. In lane 4, Matthew Gibson from YWCA Flying Fish. In lane 5, we have Joshua Harris from Academy Bullets. In lane 6, we have Sebastian Klein from Unattached. In lane 7, Robert Peterson from Delta Aquatics. In lane 8, Garrett Sims from St. Charles Swim Team. In lane 9, we have Dane Pfeifferling from Sheridan Swim Team. And in lane 10, we have Noah Zahn from New Trier Aquatics.
Pfeifferling shot out of a cannon there.
31.88. We'll see if that splits right. We'll have to check his next one.
We have lane number 1 is Andrew from Wild. Wild swimmers having a good night of 800s. Give a shout out to lane number 8, Garrett Sims over there from St. Charles. He's one of our Illinois swimming athlete reps, newly elected back in April.
In lane 6, Sebastian Klein also out in that first group. Great splits by Andrew and Pfeifferling. It looks like they are consistent with those 33-second splits.
All right, guys. Somebody coming up in the middle with a beautiful efficiency, though, in lane number 6.
Yep, that will be the aforementioned Sebastian Klein.
Boy, is he looking comfortable
Yes,
out
he
there
is.
right now.
And free.
Watch his back half. Watch his back half. The leader splits at a 2:08:02.
And Everett Andrew, I should say. All of his splits right around 33 seconds at this point. But again, in lane 9, Dane Pfeifferling right there with him.
There's an old analogy. It's not about always going faster. It's about not getting slower. You know, it's kind of one of those things. That's where pacing becomes involved. So you don't necessarily have to go that much faster. Just don't stay within yourself. Don't use the negative term don't. Stay within yourself. Keep your pacing, because eventually fatigue will set into a lot of athletes around you. Your goal is to maintain that pace.
And where would you say that sort of wall, quote unquote, that these young swimmers meet? Where, about which meter mark would you say in a race like this?
Well, and again, it depends on the meet. It depends on where they are in their training. It's kind of a real general answer I'm going to throw out here, only because we've been watching it. The 600.
Yeah. Yep.
We've seen that a couple times where our early leaders dropped off at the 600 mark, and they've stayed strong through the middle half. They started picking up the race at the 400 and just weren't able to hold it, or they were a little bit tired due to training. There's a lot of variables that go into this. It's not about one thing. Great swimming going on here by Andrew.
Everett Andrew, I should say. Again, 33.13 on his split at 3:15:02.
Love the outside smoke.
In lane 9, again, Dane Pfeifferling in second place. In lane 6, again, Sebastian Klein swimming great as well. We've got some great swimming in lanes 2, 3, and 4. A nice group. Brendan Larkin in lane 2. Luke Wagner in lane 3. And Matthew Gibson in lane 4.
Well, we got a young man down here that's starting to build into the 400 and looking strong
Everett
as he
Andrew.
does it.
Yes, he is.
And again, what happens over here? Where's your coach? What are you doing? Now, he's a single side breather, which means as he goes back, he's going to see his competition. But on this side, when he's swimming down back towards the starting block end, he's not seeing anybody but coaches. So when you're in the middle of the pool, you have the opportunity to see other people. He's swimming blind on this side. When I say blind, it's not that he can't see anything, but he doesn't have that same type of incentive of seeing where everybody else is.
Now, as I sort of compare Andrew here to some of the other swimmers, Andrew seems a little loud, I think, in the pool.
Slapping?
Yeah.
Yep. He is slapping the water a little bit. We can hear his stroke from up here in the balcony, which means that he's when he's picked up his tempo, he's just gotten a little bit out of his comfort zone of sliding his hands in nice and easy into the water. He is trying to pick up his tempo, and that's the result. It's not hurting him too much, apparently, because he's really holding good splits.
He is.
But
I was going to say, could that affect him later on in the race, maybe?
It could. It could. Because in the middle of the pool, we see a freight train coming.
Yes. I was just going to say, Sebastian Klein, he's looking smooth and free in lane 6. Not too far off the leader. Swimming with great pace.
All right, here we go. Let's watch the turns here. That's a split by your leader of 33.9. Looks really, really good. 33.77, just a couple tenths faster. In the 1500, you can, build a little bit of 10th here, a 10th there, and gradually get yourself back in the swim. But Klein over there has nobody else to race with at this point. So he's kind of, but he has got a beautiful stroke, doesn't he? The comparison between the two strokes.
Absolutely.
You can just see how that efficiency is really carrying him through the back half of the swim. But your leader is not giving up the ship. They're not counting on all these.
Just a little bit.
Both of them a little bit. But again, it's going one direction. Let's see what happens back on the other direction. So
again, in lanes 2, 3, and 4, a nice group there amongst the young swimmers.
All right, we got third over there in lane number 9. Pfeifferling.
That will be, Pfeifferling.
He looks pretty comfortable right now as well. And again, it's more difficult to be able to race out there by yourself. But I would say Andrew's doing a heck of a job of it right now. And
in lane 7, looks like in 4th place, Robert Peterson out of Delta Aquatics. He's also having a great swim.
You know, if you got to make up ground, you got to make it up through your turns, and there's about 0.3 of a second difference between first and second on that 50 split. But if 34. You watch how much time difference, it's probably about 3 seconds difference from just eyeballing it at this point in time. Lane number 9, Pfeifferling with a 36.57. All right, so he sees his competition out here. Andrew does. He hits the wall with a 34.17. Got to start attacking the walls if you're going to catch him, because that's a 34.64
from Sebastian Klein.
Yep, so keep him within himself. I think the stroke's gotten better as he's got into the back half. Not as much smack in the water.
Looking a lot more smooth.
All right, we're coming up to the...
As we come up on another turn here for Everett Andrew.
All right.
His split time, 34.61.
Why did we not get the bell? Why did we not get the bell lap in lane 1?
Somebody may have dropped the ball there a little bit.
Somebody may have dropped the bell.
Yeah, or the bell, right.
It's in the bottom of the pool right now, but your leader did not get the bell lap. Not that I saw.
Everett Andrew
maybe did, you know.
About a body's length lead over Sebastian Klein now as we approach.
All right, coaches are starting to get into their swimmers' closing speed right. Oh, look at this.
Yeah, a great group.
2, 3, and 4 right now. Larkin, Wagner, and Gibson hammer it out. Look at lane 10.
Yes. Noah Zahn in lane 10.
Andrew closing speed.
Sebastian Klein is closing quickly. Don't think he'll
he's running out of pool. Running out of pool.
Everett Andrew, but again, a great swim from him as both gentlemen are sprinting towards the end here
nice swim.
Of their respective heat. Andrew Everett touches the wall first at 8:55.18. Great splits by those gentlemen. 8:55.18 is your time for Everett Andrew.
We mentioned that you're going to see some great swims at the end of the evening. Those young men that are coming in and seated at yard times, we just saw 2 of them right there with Klein and Andrew, both putting together some really good swims.
A strong swim by both young men. As we get ready for the 6th women's heat, 11th heat overall. There will not be a full pool in this heat.
Again, that meet record was set in heat number 1, 8:56.84.
In the pool they are in lane 3, Elise Larson from Glenbrook Aquatics. In lane 4, Anna Bowers from Dunlap Dolphin Swim Team. In lane 5, Summer Soffergen from McGuire Aquatics. In lane 6, Ziv Marco from Patriot Aquatic Club. And in lane 7, Jamie Ellen, also from Patriot Aquatic Club.
Some great swims so far. Ending up with the last heat of competition right now. Camera crew's doing a great job.
Yes, they are. And it looks like in lane 3, early on, at least Larson has a slight early lead. As we approach the first 100 for her, she comes in with a, not sure if that time is right, but her split says 43.89. So far, fastest in the pool is Jamie Ellen at 36.7.
You know, you're at the Illinois Swimming Senior Championships here on day 1. Only event offered this evening is the 800 freestyles for men and women. And the one thing that I have learned to love here being in Illinois is the fact that we see good racing all the way up to the very end. Doesn't matter what heat you're in, I see quality racing, great effort, great sportsmanship all the way from heat 1 to heat 12. So you're watching some great swimming going on out here for some young ladies here that are working for the best times, trying to get that meters cut potentially for this senior long course championship.
As we have a nice grouping here in lane 3, Elise Larson, and in lane 6 and 7, Ziv Marco and Jamie Ellen are in that first group. Let's check those splits. It looks like Jamie Ellen is the fastest in the pool. Her split just over 37 seconds. Right next to her, though, Ziv Marco, 37.21.
These young ladies are entered with right at the cut, so their cut they're trying to achieve. Is 9:57.99.
As we keep an eye on lane 5, Summer Stoffergen from McGuire Aquatics.
Remember that
in lane 3, Elise Larson having a steady swim.
every meet has progressions, or every swimmer, the swim season has progressions. This event, and by making the time standard, let's say one of these young ladies goes 9:57.99 and makes the long course cut, which they look like they're very much on pace for, and they get that cut, that time standard is good for next year. That good is for entering them into the meet in the short course season as well. So by swimming this event and making the cut, that cut is good to enter you in the open water championships that we had out here at Pleasant Prairie as well.
So it's not just important for these.
No,
it's also important for next year as well.
It's preparatory, and it pays off to be able to have a cut that's current, to be able to enter meets. And it may not be just this meet. It may be a meet during the season that you need an actual time for to be able to enter the meet. So what they're accomplishing here has a long-ranging value, not just this particular race today.
And into next season as well, as you mentioned. And Ziv Marco, check that. Jamie Ellen, 36.14 on her split in lane 7.
Some good racing. We got great racing going on in lane 6 and 7
we do.
and 3 and 4. So no shortage of great racing tonight all the way through heat 1 to heat 12 tonight. Let's see if these young ladies can knock out that time standard.
Yeah, let's hope so.
All right, halfway point.
Great splits by Jamie Ellen and Ziv Marco. Not sure if Ellen's split time is right, but Ziv Marco at 37.45.
Yeah, they're too close together for them to be that far off. So they've got to come home about a 5:05, 5:04 to be able to get that. So right now they're 4:54. They've got to come back within 10 seconds of that time. So their back half has to be 10 seconds, no slower than 10 seconds of the front half of the race to be able to get that time standard.
Do you think the swim? Obviously, they're probably not aware of the times as much, but do you think they have a certain, let's see the word I'm looking for, maybe goal after a certain amount of turns where they can think they're in a good amount of time as far as keeping pace?
You watch, and the coaches will signal with both arms up in the air. They will signal, pick up the pace by making their arms move in a circular motion. Most coaches will stay connected with their athletes so they know that. And you can see the coach down here at your feet right now.
Checking his watch.
Well, he's doing his splits on his watches. So the splits they got to hold here are 37s. 37s are going to give you right at that 5-minute mark. So they're right there. They're right there, but they got to push each other through the back half here.
Ziv Marco and Jamie Ellen. Let's also keep an eye
4.
on lanes 3 and 4.
Is that Bowers?
Lane 4, Anna Bowers, yep. Having a great split there.
That's Max Spencer down there pushing her through that from Dunlap Dolphins, and you saw her start to pick up the back half. And again, that's race strategy. They know, click it and go. So it's not where you are. It's being patient in distance swimming. It's staying within yourself, and you get the end result. Great swimming going on there.
Great swimming, absolutely.
Come on, ladies, push
swimming.
each other to that cut again. These young ladies are shooting that came in with the yards time. Meters time is 9:57.99 is the cut. That means that they'll have a cut to come back to this meet if the time standards didn't change. They'll be able to enter the meet. In other words, they can swim through competitions and not have to worry about qualifying.
Okay. We see in lane 6 now, Ziv Marco starting to pull away just a little bit from Jamie Ellen. Coming up on another split here.
Stay in it, ladies. Stay in it all the way.
37.85 on that split for Ziv Marco.
A little bit of a missed wall for Jamie Ellen. Coming on strong, though, here in 4 is Bowers.
Yes, she is. Bowers gaining quickly. About a length and a half from Jamie Ellen. But she had a great split.
Come on, ladies. Stay engaged.
See Ziv Marco start to, again, pull away just a little bit more. We'll see if Jamie Ellen can keep pace with her.
She's got to hang tough right here. She's not far off the pace. She just got to keep hanging. All right, again, there's a lot of value in being able to swim the race. It's experience, knowing how to swim the race. You take a look at Bowers right now.
Yeah.
Right now she's got a really strong back half by the way she approached her front half. So there's a lot of value to experience being learned in this particular race as well. Things that you can't teach in practice. You can't teach some things in practice. You can teach them pacing, but you can't teach them how to race within the race. They got to experience that part.
Boys,
you can give them hints.
Ziv Marco, she is having excellent turns. She's steadily increasing her lead as we come up on the last 100 meters here.
She's got to get home a 15.
38.05 on that last split for Ziv Marco.
Come on, Ziv. The cut is in your reach right here. 9:57.99. We need closing speed, ladies. Come on.
Approaching the last 125 meters for Ziv Marco. She's got a full body length over Jamie Ellen, but Anna Bowers in lane 4 is closing the gap on Jamie Ellen just a little bit. As we come up on the last turn for Ziv Marco. Great split by her, 38.45.
Oh, come on, girl. You got to close it out.
Got to close it to get in, hopefully, into that top 8. As she gets encouragement for the last 50 meters.
Come on. Get home, get home, get home. 10 seconds to the wall. Put her head down and go.
As Ziv Marco swims the last 10 meters, she lunges for that wall. She comes in at 9:57.25.
And she makes that cut.
She does make the cut with a 36.24 split. Excellent closing heat by Ziv Marco.
Great job, ladies. I apologize. We do have one more heat. One more heat.
Last for the men. Only 4 swimmers. I'm sorry, 3 swimmers in this heat. And
champ cut for the guys is 9:22.99. It looks like Caden Griffith is coming in with a sectional time standard from short course, so he's got a good shot at making this.
So in lane 5, we have Andrew Lubashenko from Glenbrook Aquatics. In lane 6, Alexa Zobkiv from Scout Aquatics. And in lane 8 is Mason McCauley from Coho Swim Club.
When you watch again, Mason's a pretty good sized boy, so he's getting some good distance per stroke.
Andrew Lubashenko and Mason McCauley, both your early leaders. It looks like I think Lubashenko's split is a little bit off there. I think it's more closer to McCauley's at 33.68.
We sometimes, you're right, we just have to sometimes call what looks right. Getting a lot of interesting readouts on the touchpads today.
As I look in lane 6, Alexa Zobkiv trying to draft there from Andrew Lubashenko just a little bit. Another turn.
I'm really liking Lubashenko's turns. Let's watch him as he comes down towards the starting end down here and watch how he gets through his turn, not just by taking his heels over the top, but he actually swam through the turn. In other words, no hesitation, no delay. It's almost like bouncing off the wall like you threw a tennis ball in and see how fast it comes back at you. So let's watch, see if he stays consistent with his turns here, because it really brought him back.
And those are the best turns, right?
Let's watch and see what he does here. Head down, heels over. Pretty good mechanics on the turn.
Swimming really smooth and free at this point.
You know, if you ask a coach down on the pool deck, how often do you work on turns? Every day, every wall. So they're working on him here.
Mason McCauley, Andrew Lubashenko battling it out early. And Alexa Zobkiv right there, about a body's length behind the two runners ahead of him.
Well, if they were in track, we'd call them runners, but we'll call them swimmers. I know what you meant.
Thank you. I'm glad somebody did. Another great split there for Lubashenko, 34.91.
But look at the splits though.
Yep, all around
34.9, 34.0, 34. There's 35.0, 35.0. So we've got building into the 300 wall here. And again, when we were talking over and over again about where did you see the wall hit him, where did you see him hit the wall? So we're not to the halfway point just yet. Splits across the board. Actually, lane number 6.
Alexa Zobkiv, sub 35 split there.
Yep. So there's no
making up
here.
A little bit of ground.
He gets a little bit farther up there, and he can start dragging off the hip.
It looks like that's what he tried to do earlier in the heat.
You know, interesting concept. Sometimes you get to people watch what's happening on top of the water. Your comment about hearing a stroke. And one of the fastest distance swimmers ever in history, Janet Evans, did not have what people would have considered the prettiest stroke on top of the water, but underwater she was dynamite.
Because it's not just about on top of the water.
It's really little effect of what's happening on top of the water. It's what's happening underwater. My point being is when you see the sun coming in off the lake here and the sunset, you can really see the strokes underwater. So you can really see where they're short on their catch or they're not pulling through. Where you see over there with McCauley is his body balance. And his body balance, 34.96. It's not that they're that much, 34.89 again for Zobkiv. But you're seeing good body balance. And body balance means he's rotating to both sides. And he's really keeping an even stroke. He doesn't over-pull on one side of his body just because he breathes out of that side. He's not over-pulling to that side.
And it really gives that efficient gliding look to his stroke as well. Makes it look almost effortless.
And that the word glide is really a good way to put it. I think the athletes almost have to look like they're swimming downhill. And they're matching split for split here.
They are. They're all at around 35 seconds.
The fastest swimmer in the pool right now is in third place.
Yep. He's gaining ground, though, is Alexa Zobkiv. Right on the hip of Lubashenko.
champ cut, 9:22.99 in meters.
Now, you think it affects the swimmers at all, being that it's just 3 swimmers in this particular heat?
No. Not apparently not.
They're having great splits so far,
They're
aren't they?
doing okay. You know, a lot of athletes will get national cuts in a time trial.
Okay.
You know, sometimes it's about just racing and focusing on the racing when not have to worry about everybody else around you. You don't become distracted. So you can see
sub 35.
Sub 35 there. Again, from Zobkiv. He's the fastest swimmer in the pool for the last 3 splits, but he's bringing it a tenth at a time. That's great racing because you are bringing it up and farther forward a little bit at a time.
This is a great swim so far. I think we're going to have a really close finish. Great split by Macaulay, sub 35, 34.81. And a great turn as well.
You start to see the increase of the tempo now from everybody. That's what's going to happen with Macaulay and also Lubashenko over here.
Yeah, starting to exert a little more energy on those strokes.
We got a 200 left. Let's hope they didn't forget the bells and put them away too early. Come on, boys, bring it home.
Another turn coming up here.
All right,
35.32
swimmer in the pool
for Macaulay, but Alexis Zobkiv, 35.28.
He's almost on the hip. He's still hanging. If I was Lubashenko, I'd move over, get out of the draft, unless they're working together for some reason, and sometimes they do. To your point, you asked that earlier.
Yep.
Do they work together sometimes? Yeah, maybe. I don't think so, but we don't know. So let's see if Macaulay's efficiency pays off on the back half with 150 left to go.
Another great split. Really consistent swimming here by these 3 gentlemen. 35.19 for Macaulay. 35.27 for Lubashenko. 35.46 for Zobkiv.
Oh, all 3 of them are closing it out.
Really strong here. And Zobkiv is steadily making up ground on Lubashenko.
Now, there's going to be a 34 in here somewhere. Trust me. The way they're swimming now, the way that tempo's increased.
I'm looking at Zobkiv. I think he's starting to rev it up just here a little bit as we approach
There's
the last
the bell.
100.
35.1.
Yep. 34.83.
Here we
for
go.
Zobkiv.
That's going to get him home at a 9. A 10 would get him home at 9:13, 9:12. That's fast enough to achieve the meters cut.
Zobkiv having great turns, drafting from Lubashenko.
That's what you call battling. We have one athlete over here in lane 5 that's breathing only out of his left side. You have an athlete in lane 6 that's breathing out of both sides, bilateral breathing. So he sees his competition on every length.
As we come into the last turn here, Macaulay is your leader.
Whoa, Lubashenko's a 33.
33.
I don't know.
We'll have to check that.
I don't know.
Probably not, but
Cut.
again, a great split and a great turn.
All over it, boys. Come on. All 3 of you under that cut.
Yeah, so far they are as we approach the last 50 meters. Macaulay is your leader. Let's see if Zobkiv can close the gap. I don't think he will, but finishing strong are all 3 swimmers.
Come on, gentlemen. All 3 of you get the cut.
As they lunge forward, it will be Macaulay touching first, a sub 34 split, 33.83. And he finishes with 9:12.65 as his time.
So out of Heat 1, we're your winners in the competition. That was Heat 1 of the women. That was Kaylee Lovell from Academy Bullets, who broke the meet record.
Yep,
8:56.84 by a tenth of a second, and swim 800. You break it by a tenth of a second, you're happy. Your winner for the 2nd year in a row, back-to-back senior long course championships, was Liam Hutchinson with an 8:23.6.
So we saw the fastest swimmers in the first heat.
We saw the fastest swimmers in the first heat, but we saw some great swims throughout the competition tonight.
Yes, we did.
So as we end up our evening, we'll talk a little bit about what's happening tomorrow. Events for day 2
are the 100-meter breaststroke, the 200 freestyle, the 100-meter butterfly, the 400-meter individual medley, and the 800-meter freestyle relay, which I'm looking forward to. On day 3, We have the 200 IM individual medley, the 50-meter freestyle, the 200-meter breaststroke, the 100-meter backstroke, the 400 freestyle, and the 400-meter medley relay. And to finish up competition on day 4, we've got the 1,500-meter freestyle, the 200-meter backstroke, the 100-meter freestyle, the 200 butterfly, and the 400 freestyle relay.
The awards for tonight's events will be presented at the beginning of the competition tomorrow.
Okay.
So we'll see them on the podium at the start of tomorrow when we are on the air. So as we close out tonight, we've seen some great competition. No scores available at this time, but we will update you when we come on the air. You look for the live webcast tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m.
Right here from the beautiful Recplex here at Pleasant Prairie. And we'll see you then. I should say, Tony Young. I am Jay Pfeiffer. We will see you tomorrow morning, bright and early. Thanks for joining us.